Let me ask you this though. So the kind of on the opposite of movies getting spoiled by trailers, we have also seen the last few years trailers that have like fake outs in them where they specifically put stuff that is not in the movie like with intention
Yeah.
to save from spoilers. How
Yeah.
how do you feel about that process? Do
I
you
think I think they made that issue themselves. It is a device of their own creation because they put
well,
everything in the
yeah, of course.
trailers.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're doing it with intention to hide certain reveals.
Yeah,
Like
and it's because
Marvel movies come to mind.
they created this environment of let's just shove all the good moments into the trailer in order to get people to
Oh,
go,
I see.
but then they go and they've already seen all the good moments, so they have no actual weight when you see the movie. So now they have to do this fake out BS because they've created an expectation for trailers that they now can no longer meet if they want to satisfy the audience's need for surprises during the movie because they were taking that away from audiences. They were putting all the surprises into the trailer. So there was no reason to go. There was no satisfaction in going. But now you've trained your audience to like hooks. And that's, I think, the root cause of it. So if you change that, I recently saw an interesting analysis of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Mr. Rogers um, was a pivotal TV show because of how it is framed. And when you watch it, yeah, I mean, like it feels a little bit slow, but it doesn't feel unintentional. Because if you watch even just the opening sequence of Mister Rogers, it's
Like where he
just
comes in and changes
when he
his
comes in, he
sweater
gets
and puts his
dressed.
shoes on, that kind of
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
sits down and he starts. It just follows him. And the person that I was watching was contrasting it with other media where something about the frame is changing literally every 3 to 5 seconds, whether that's the
Mhm.
background, whether it's a cut, whether it's flipping between characters that are on screen together, like something is happening every 3 to 5 seconds. So you've trained your audience to want that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't disagree with your points, but I don't know if it's the studio training the audience or if it was a byproduct of moving towards what audiences didn't know that they wanted more of. Because like where does the shift happen? Is it
Sure.
because we decided somewhere along the way that like, hey, we should make these cuts shorter? Or is it like, hey, you know what? I've noticed something. I wonder if we could resolve that by making these cuts shorter. So I don't know if it was an adaptation or if it was a training, like you said.
That's a
But
fair
you're
point.
right.
That's
I,
actually
I
a
mean,
a
you're
fair
right. Like
point.
things are much very fast. They're a lot faster with cuts and framing and that sort of thing now. And one of the things I wanted to bring up too, so it used to be that there was a movie trailer, right? You would go to the theater, you would see the trailer, and then that's how you knew a movie was coming.
Yes.
Eventually, those went to television, where you would have the trailer that would play in the movie, and then a couple weeks later, it would also play on TV somewhere. Now we get multiple trailers in the theater, right? You get like a premiere trailer, a second trailer, a third trailer, and they show you different things leading up to the release of the film.
Are you
We
talking
still
about
have those
are you talking about, for the same movie, or you just
for
get.
the same movie,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah. You get a trailer 1, a trailer 2, a trailer 3.
Mhm,
There's also, TV spots. We get social media ads, which you have like, web exclusive trailers.
mhm,
We have teaser trailers.
mhm.
And have you seen where we do trailers for a trailer?
That I
Have
haven't seen yet.
That's a real thing where there will be a teaser trailer to announce in 5 days we're getting the trailer for whatever film.
I
And
see
it's
that for
wild.
games. I see that for games, I haven't seen that for a movie. What I usually see for
It
movies is a Twitter post or an Instagram post of the trailer drops in a week. I've seen that, but I've never seen a trailer for the trailer.
I I have seen a trailer, a teaser trailer for a trailer, and I've even seen a teaser trailer right before the trailer. Like for the same trailer where it's like, you
That's
know,
wild.
gives you a couple frenetic cuts and some audio, and
This
then it
is
says the trailer in 3, 2, 1, and it's like, why are we doing this?
this
Like,
is
it
where
is bonkers.
this is where I would make the argument that it is the studios training you, because who asked for that? Who asked for that? Nobody asked for that. So this is where I'm like, the studios are making a concerted effort to serve you something. And this is where, for me, it doesn't become like, well, but the studios are just trying to find out what people like. No one likes it. I'm going to say it. I'll be the guy on the internet that says it. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants 20 minutes of trailers before their movie starts. Nobody wants trailers of trailers. Nobody wants trailers of trailers of trailers. It's not needed.
I'm going to tell you right now, nobody likes it, but I still think it works, and I think that's why they do it, because I'm sure I'm going to cycle this all back to my complaint that I feel like I have every week now, is that we spend too much money on movies. Budgets are too big, so they are trying to figure out how to get the most return. So they run all their silly little panels and surveys and focus groups, and they try to figure out, like, well, what information do I need to get to the people to make sure that they buy a ticket? And this is one of the byproducts of that we
Okay,
get 800 trailers
I have a
and
counter.
trailers for trailers and all kinds of other things.
I have a counter. And I think that you have a very good point in that it happens because it
I
works.
always
And
have good points.
this
Always.
is this is so this would be my counter, because marketing is a powerful tool. I don't think
For
anybody
sure.
is going to disagree with that premise. However, in marketing, and I look, I don't have a marketing degree. I studied arts and entertainment management in college, which dives a little bit into marketing strategy, but I don't have a degree in this. So somebody who has a degree in this, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But my personal feeling is that the end goal of marketing is to stay top of mind. And you don't need to be top of mind 6 months before the movie comes out. Maybe that's a radical opinion, but I don't think that you really need to be dropping marketing until just a few months before a movie comes out. That gives people enough time to plan, and you're staying top of mind. I don't think you need to be like, I don't need an announcement for
I'm
something that's coming out next December right now. I
I'm gonna I'm gonna I I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong, and you're gonna freak out, because in theory you should be right. You should be right that we don't need marketing that far in advance. But here is why, and I'm gonna say it again because it's the budget thing. Do you know that Christopher Nolan's movie The Odyssey,
Mhm,
that comes out next summer,
mhm.
you can buy tickets for now? Right now, a year in advance. That's crazy. And that's why marketing starts so soon, because now they are trying to get people to buy the ticket money, like spend money on the ticket well before the movie even
Here's
comes
the
out.
thing.
Because again, they need to get enough revenue to make it worth spending the money on the production of the film.
I wonder though, and this is where I don't know enough about the back end of it, which I think is somewhat ironic because we literally started the first episode with let's take a look under the hood. But I don't, don't genuinely know enough about it. And I wonder, A, is anybody actually buying tickets right now? Like if I went somewhere and saw like seats available at this theater, like are there any that are actually sold? That's A. And B, are they using this as a sort of Kickstarter where they're using pre-sales, pre-sold tickets to fund the actual making of the movie? That's what I wonder, because that's the only way it makes any sense in my head.
So I am currently on Variety's website. This is an article from July.
Mhm.
Uh,
So
IMAX
that's
IMAX
literally
tickets
a
have
full
already sold
year.
out.
That is a full year before the movie comes out, and
Mhm.
it's sold out.
The IMAX tickets were the pre-sale IMAX tickets. I didn't read the whole article, I'll just skim real quick. So I don't know if they sold both IMAX and standard, but the IMAX tickets that they allotted for pre-sale all sold out a year in advance.
So then that
Now
brings
that's
me
Christopher
to
Nolan. Not every director is Christopher Nolan. Not every film is a Christopher Nolan project. Like there are very few, I think, Hollywood directors that have the allure of Christopher Nolan. So maybe you couldn't pull that off with everything, but I'm telling you, I think that that's part of the problem is that they are trying to get people to commit the money as early
Yeah.
as possible because they don't want to take the chance that you would forget and not do it later,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know that I think that that's Christopher Nolan pull, and that it might be a controversial take to be throwing out onto the internet. I don't dislike Christopher Nolan. Like I said, I enjoyed Inception, I enjoyed Dunkirk. I don't dislike Christopher Nolan. I don't think that he is the pull. I think that there are people who are going to go see The Odyssey because it is a Christopher Nolan film. I think that there are people who are going to go because Tom Holland is in it. I think there are people who are going to go because it's shot in IMAX. I think that there is a bunch of things that they have wrapped this movie up into in order to incentivize you to go. But the fact that it sold out a year in advance, I think A is indicative of our culture. I think that that's crazy. But two, I would again ask, are these ticket sales being used to fund the movie in part? Like, because that's why. Like, why? Why are you selling them a year in advance? Like, if I made the tickets available 6 months in advance instead of a year in advance, the same thing would have happened. It would have still sold out. Like, I genuinely, I don't understand. Because I think that it's interesting that you bring it up, but if I made the tickets available 4 months in advance as opposed to a year in advance, the same thing would have happened.
Yes, but now you still have the opportunity to do it again, right? So if it worked the first time, you have more runway where you can say second round of pre-sale tickets coming soon, where if you waited the first time around, you don't have that avenue.
Right, but to what end? Because I still have to put it up in a theater. The theater still only has so many seats. So unless the argument is we're gonna build a new IMAX theater to sell more tickets, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of movies that come out, right? I mean, there's multiple studios, multiple projects, and all of them are vying for a spot in order to screen the film.
Mhm.
So studios negotiate the number of screens, when they release a movie. So like not every theater gets every movie, not every theater has more, like, some movies may only get one screen within the theater, some might get more than that. So if you pre-sell all this stuff, they could probably negotiate a deal with movie theaters to say, all right, look, we want you to play our film not only on we want you to do half the screens, and we got the ticket sales approved, we got enough people. If they fill up, then they can say, hey, can you add another showing, especially if it's this early out, because I don't know what the timeline is for those arrangements, but if you have a guaranteed, like, I got this many tickets, we've already filled up the things that you've allocated towards this, do you have another screen that you can open at that time, like something that's not committed to, where we can put it on there as well? And then you get the additional seats.
You're still, I think, struggling with an allocation of resources issue because either you build a new IMAX theater in order to screen it more, or you have more screenings in the IMAX theater that already exists. And if the movie is 2.5 hours long, at maximum, which that's honestly generous because it's probably going to be a 3 hour movie.
Sure.
And then you have to build in all of the freaking time for the trailers that play before. So that's at least a half an hour. So you're talking about 3.5 hours. You can only screen a 3 hour movie like 4 times a day.
In one theater. That's what I'm saying. So let's say you go to a multiplex that's got 10 screens, right? And typically they would have 10 different movies playing at whatever times throughout
Hmm.
the day.
Sure.
If you take the Odyssey and you say, we're going to pre sell our tickets, and you sell it out, right?
Hmm.
Like you sell out the city of, some kind of Chicago suburb, let's say. And
Hmm.
they're like, all the tickets we've sold out there for that time. Can you open up? Can we have another screen in your multiplex? Because we obviously have a demand. Whatever you were going to put there or have not agreed to put there yet is a gamble.
Mhm.
More seats means more revenue for the theater. That's a different license. I mean, like that's still an arrangement that they make with the studio to open that screen. They have to. There's an exchange of money there too. So they say, look, we already know we're going to fill that one screen that you've allocated to us. Can you give us another one? And they go, you know what? We haven't set that up with anybody else yet. We got theater number 9 still available. We'll put you in number 1 and number 9. And then
Yeah.
you sell more tickets. And then they go, you know what? We don't have any more that are off, but we have some weird indie film that's supposed to be in theater 10. It's probably not going to do that well. We'll bump them or we'll limit their showings. We'll go back and renegotiate that deal. We're going to put you in there too because you're guaranteed money because you're bringing all these pre-sales with you. That's what I
Yeah,
think is happening.
so I think that there is definitely conversation that happens between the studio, the distributing company, and the theater. Um, my understanding is that you negotiate with the theater a certain number of screens, so a certain number of theaters within the building that your movie plays on, and then the theater decides on the schedule. That's my understanding. I could be very, very
Sure.
wrong on that. So I could see your argument if they're coming to a theater and saying, "Hey, we have these pre-sale tickets. We would like to sell more tickets because it's sold out. The only way that we can do that is if you give us another screen."
The other way is that you back the release date up and like not officially, right? Because I don't know if you've seen this, but I've seen this all the time. If a movie comes out on Friday,
Hmm.
if they know it's going to open well, sometimes they will, or if they believe it's going to open well, they will sometimes start the showings Thursday or
Yeah,
Wednesday,
I
and it
disagree with
counts
that.
with the opening thing.
I have very
Yeah,
strong
whether you
feelings
what do you,
about it.
I'm sure you do, and like you're not the only one. I mean, there's arguments to be made about whether or not that is if that should count as an opening box office or not. But sometimes that is done just to kind of manipulate the numbers. Other times that's done because they're selling a ton. I think it was like I don't remember if it was Independence Day. There was some film where it was so hot in demand that they had to start adding more showings beforehand because they're like people want to see this and there's not enough tickets to go
So,
around.
well, this is my thought, and again, I'm not a studio exec. I don't run a theater. I'm not a distribution company. But I think that the solution is somewhat simple, where you don't need special screenings. You don't need to open a week before the release date. You just let the movie run longer in theaters. Like there's this like a hard deadline on how long a movie can be in a theater, which is like 2 months. And I'm like, why are we setting a
I don't
deadline on how long a movie that
I
people
don't know that
want to
there
see?
is. Is there a hard deadline for that? I think it just
You
depends on how long people are seeing it.
No, you contract. That's what I mean. Like you negotiate with a theater. I want to play my movie on this screen for this long. They set the schedule. And then if you want to run longer than that, you can extend the contract or you can renegotiate the contract. But my understanding is that like I want my movie to play for 60 days or for 90 days. And I think that if your movie is that popular, then you should just let it run longer. I don't think that you need to be opening sooner.
So I just did a quick Google search. It says, no, there is no universal deadline for how long a movie can stay in theaters, though the typical contract is between 30 and 60 days, which is like you mentioned. But successful films can stay for much longer, while unpopular movies may be pulled in as little as a couple of weeks.
Right.
So when movies are popular, they do get to take extended time. I
Right.
would also be curious what had the longest movie theater run
I
and how
bet you
long that was.
before you look it up, my bet, Titanic.
I was gonna guess either Titanic or Avatar. I figure it's probably a James Cameron movie. But let's see. Movie theater run. Um wow,
We're
we
both
were
wrong.
both way off.
Yeah. We're
The
both wrong.
longest movie theater run was the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Wow. Interesting. I thought that was a cult classic, so I didn't think it got that long of
But
a
I don't
movie
know if
run.
that counts because you know what? It's saying in here it continues to play in theaters today. I don't know if that I don't know if that like
Oh, you have to be more specific. I would
Yeah,
ask
I don't
it,
know if that's
what was
really
the
counting.
longest initial movie theater? What was the longest initial movie that ran in theaters? Or the how would I ask it? What was the longest theater run for a new movie?
Okay, so I found this other list that claims it was The Sound of Music with 147 weeks.
Oh, I could actually believe that. The Sound of Music was very, very popular.
Star Wars was number 2 at 135 weeks,
Yeah. So that's almost 2 years,
which that's a lot. I mean, yeah,
right? Because no, it's over 2 years because
that's pretty
52 weeks
wild.
in a year. So 2
Oh
years
yeah,
would be 104 weeks. So that's over 2 years. That's crazy.
that's pretty wild. Yeah,
But
cool.
that's what I'm saying. Like if the
You're
Odyssey is that popular, then I mean, like, I guess you could get me on board with the idea of trying to get more screens on your contract by pre-selling tickets, but I don't think that you need to do these pre-screenings or early releases. The movie drops when it drops, and then if it's sold out, then you just buy it down the road. I just don't
but
I'm so
but
not on board.
you know as well as I do that a studio or like most businesses are going to do whatever they can to make the most amount of money wherever they can. So why would you limit yourself to just because you still have that option to leave it in the theater as long as possible? And I'm sure that's what they're thinking. That hopefully this will get a long theater run, but why not also try to make it on the front end? Like why would you limit yourself to just keeping it in the theater longer?
Yeah, the thing is, it starts with, and we saw this happen. It starts with the Thursday midnight showing, and then it goes to Thursday matinees, and then it goes to the Wednesday midnight showing, and then it's not a Friday release anymore. Now it just releases on Monday. And I'm just like, look, it's fine if you want to release your movie on a Monday. I am not actually saying that you can't release your movie on a Monday. But all of us know, we all know that they draw movies on Friday because it is the beginning of the weekend and they know that they can get people to go to the theater. So I
Right.
just like, it's fine. Drop it on the Friday. It's okay. I don't understand.
It's all about the money. It's all about the money.
Maybe. And maybe this is why I'm destined to not be a studio exec, because I just don't get it. I would put my foot down. I would be like, "Bro, the movie comes out on Friday. If you can't see it on Friday, go and see it on Saturday." I like it's
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I think you can hate it all you like, but I think that I think it just is what it is, and we don't have a say in it. Somebody that is making a lot more money than we are decided that this was the best route to go, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I get it. And here's the thing though, I've talked to people and I I am in the minority. I'm not going to say that I have a popular opinion, but I've talked to people and there are people who agree on some things. Like Wednesday releases, most people that I talk to are like, "Yeah, that's dumb." But then they still go. And I'm like, "What are you doing? What are you even doing? By going, you are saying that this is a thing that you want." Because and this is like the whole vote with your dollar thing where if no one went to Wednesday releases, guess what would happen? They wouldn't
They'd
have
stop doing
them.
them.
They wouldn't have them. Just like I mean, like, I don't know how you stop the whole 20 minutes of trailers before movies. I don't know how you tackle that, but, like, you as the consumer have a lot more power in numbers, fair, and, yeah, it's hard to convince other people to do XYZ, but the consumer has power in numbers, and that's what they're chasing. They're to your point, they're chasing that dollar value. So if something doesn't bring in revenue, they will stop doing that thing. That's why they've sort of pivoted on the whole Marvel thing because people have stopped going to Marvel movies. Gee, I wonder why Marvel movies are changing. Oh, it's because everybody stopped going.
I I could go into a long tangent about the Marvel Cinematic Universe because I have a lot of thoughts on that, and maybe we should at some point. But I would also argue that maybe people stopped going, or I don't know if it's as straightforward as you think it is. I think that movies are changing because they were trying to be clever, and audiences don't like it. I don't think that they.
I
We'll
think
save it for
that
another
boils
time. We
down to
should
the
do
same
another episode.
thing though, which is people stopped going, so they figured out that they've got to change how they're approaching it.
I think they started changing first. That's what I'm saying. I think that they had a winning formula and they
Oh, I
said we need to
disagree.
evolve. They evolved the wrong way, and then people stopped showing up, and now they're like, we don't understand why aren't people coming? Well, it's maybe because you missed with the formula. I I could go in a long time. Let's
That would actually, I
let
guess, yeah, if you'd like us to have a whole episode on dissecting the MCU, drop a comment in the below and bubba da bubba. Do your thing.
the bubba to bubba. Exactly. I was just thinking that.